Hi everybody and welcome back. My name's Melissa and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living, and right now I'm doing a series on some super frugal meals and how you can kind of like use a few base items to cook for the whole week. So my big base item would be I got chicken thighs. I got for six something, just under, they were $1 a pound, they're 99 cents a pound, and I got just under 7 pounds. Added a gallon of water, an onion, and a carrot. Made a gallon of chicken broth and 8 cups of shredded chicken. And I have made things like burrito bowls, chicken rice soup, and I'm trying to think what else, pulled chicken, and such. So today I'm going to make potato soup. It doesn't need the chicken, but it did need the chicken broth. Ironically enough, I wanted potato soup, and so that was the whole reason behind all of this week's meal planning, was my 60 cent per serving potato soup. So I got a 3-pound bag of gold potatoes for 99 cents a pound. I got, or not 90, for 99 cents total. All the recipes called for you to cook bacon, but I hate cooking bacon. So I'm going to use these bacon bits that I got for $1. And then when I do cook bacon, I save the grease so that if I need it for something, I have it. So I'll do that. I'll need 5 tablespoons of butter. I got it for $2 a pound, so there's 31 cents of butter. Half a medium onion, so about 10 cents, a quarter cup of flour, so 4 cents worth of flour, 2.5 cups of the homemade chicken broth, so 18 cents, salt and pepper to taste, and a cup of cheese that I also got for $2 for an 8-ounce thing, so that's about $1. That's $3.62 for the entire pot of soup that I will be making. Oh, you know what? I forgot to add in the milk. So it's actually a little bit more than 60 cents per serving. The milk was $2 a gallon. I'm using 2.5 cups, so let's see, whatever, $2. It's still like a few pennies, so probably $4-ish. I'll redo the math and get back to you on that. But the first step is to cook the bacon and then save the bacon grease. So since I skipped that, I'm just going to take the bacon grease and put about a tablespoon in my pan to start, and then I'll go ahead and turn this camera to the pan so you can kind of see how I'm doing it. Obviously turn on the pan. Because it thinks that I've cooked bacon, it is expecting a hot pan. Extra bacon grease in. That adds a lot of flavor. Now a lot of people will be like, oh, but who has bacon grease? Well, you can obviously buy the bacon, cook the bacon. When you cook that bacon, save the bacon grease so you have it for next time. These, I normally get the generic brand for like $2 a bag, but I got a bunch of these on sale. They were $1 each, so I stocked up. Because that's what you do when you're trying to save money, is when something's cheap, you stock up on it. I kind of want it to start smelling like bacon. It calls for unsalted butter. I am using salted because, so Jewel had butter on sale. Jewel's a local grocery store. It's part of the Safeway Albertsons brand of grocery stores, or it's another brand in their collection. And they had a pound of their Lucerne butter on sale for $2, but everywhere was out of the unsalted, so I had to get the salted. So I'll just add less salt in later steps. Okay, I'm starting to be able to smell the bacony smell. So now I will add the butter. Quick way to figure it out is to just kind of mark And if you have forgotten, there's 8 tablespoons of butter per stick. So you can always then also count backwards. 2, 3. And then I'm going to let that melt. So that starts to melt. It wants the onion to be translucent. I'm going to throw the onion in. When I was younger, a family friend taught me always scrape your cutting board with the back of your knife, not the sharp part. Wow, I feel like this is a ton of onion. I mean, it's later going to, or a ton of butter. It's going to become a roux, so that's fine. I think it's called a roux. I know a slurry is when you mix like the cornstarch or flour with water. This we're going to mix the butter and kind of cook it, so we'll see how that goes. Again, I'm just kind of modifying a recipe that I found online to suit what I had. So first, I smelled bacon. Now I smell onion, obviously, because I'm cooking the onion. So it's a very fragrant meal. Your house is gonna, or at least your kitchen is. I live in a 400 square foot home, so it doesn't take much for my entire house to smell like whatever. But you are definitely going to have a lot of different fragrances. So if certain smells bother you or your kids, you're going to want to be ready for it. I mean, it's good. It's part of the cooking process, but I know for some people that's tough. They don't really look translucent. They look yellow from the butter, but they feel like they're at the translucent soft level. So I'm going to add the garlic. Wow, this one's really, really fragrant. You're going to want to cook this. You're going to want to add the flour in and cook it for a minute. You can see it kind of starts to thicken and mix with the butter. It's going to be what thickens the potato soup. This doesn't have a lot of protein with it. However, it is a lot of calories, so you will need calories and energy and stuff. And so sometimes it is what it is, and you have to eat foods that aren't as protein rich and have more carbs, but I still feel like a homemade potato soup is a lot healthier. I'm going to add in the chicken broth. Probably should have added the milk first, but that's okay. Oh, I'm supposed to whisk here. That's why I was supposed to whisk, and I completely forgot because it helps to thicken it. I'm supposed to season with salt and pepper, and I'm supposed to do that at the end, but I like doing it at this stage, so hopefully I don't mess up the cream. So the potatoes I have soaking in water like this so that they stay nice and fresh or whatever after I've cut them. I can't talk. So I'll drain that off now. because there's milk in it, I don't want it to scald. I'm hoping that the camera does not die because apparently this has like a super short battery life. While I'm waiting for this to boil, I'm going to turn the camera off and give it a minute. Okay, you can kind of see that it's starting to steam and bubble a little bit. I have been whisking it every so often off camera. I don't know if you can tell by how I'm stirring it, but you can like feel the soup starting to thicken. So I don't know if you can see the bubbles starting to form. I don't want it to be at a rapid boil or a hard boil. I want it to soft boil. I am going to go ahead and start adding in these potatoes, and then I'm supposed to cook them for like 10 minutes. I'm going to make sure these are completely covered, and they're supposed to be cooked to fork tender. It's supposed to take about 10 minutes. So I'm going to set a time for 10 minutes, go plug in the camera so it can charge more, and I'll be back. Okay, so it actually took about 23 minutes to get it to where I wanted it to. Maybe I was impatient and didn't let it boil fast enough. Maybe it's because I put some bigger chunks in there because I do like a chunkier potato soup. And I knew they'd kind of get messed up with mashing. But you can use an immersion blender or a hand masher. I don't have an immersion blender, so I'm going to just hand mash some of these. And I feel like it's still not, I don't know, maybe they weren't. The ones that I tested were fork tender, which is what they said. Now I can't get when they're slippery. Okay, so they're definitely fork tender because I'm having trouble getting them on the fork even. But then when I go to smash them, they're not really. So maybe it does need some more time. But I swear all the recipes say like cook the potatoes for 10 minutes. I don't know in what world the potatoes are going to be done in such a little time. Maybe they all dice them like teeny tiny. I mean, you can see that it's definitely mashing them somewhat. Maybe that's what I'll do is because they really don't feel. No, they do need more time to cook. But it could also be that once you mash them, you're going to add in cheese. Some people add in sour cream. So maybe it just, I don't know, wants some time to cook. I'm actually kind of considering just topping it with cheese. So the cheese is kind of optional. Because I really do like the flavor. It has actually a really good flavor without adding any cheese. You're obviously going to want to add cheese because it's like your main protein in this dish. But I think I also want to start adding in some bacon so the bacon flavor develops a little bit more. But I feel like this is just like a really hearty soup. And it would be best to just kind of let it simmer a little bit, maybe. I feel like some of the potatoes just need a little extra time to cook. So I would say let the potatoes cook for like 25-ish minutes, even though the recipe says 10. And I looked at several recipes, and they all said to like cook them for like 10 to 15 minutes, regardless of whether they called for russets or yellow potatoes. So I don't know. I just kind of looked at the ingredients I had and all the recipes and kind of figured. I'm going to make a tiny bowl. I'm not super hungry, but that way you can kind of see and I can taste. Okay, so I just did a little ramekin, which is still a lot more than I wanted, but you can see it's just kind of, well, maybe you can't see. Let's see if I can adjust the camera. Okay, so you can see I just put some soup in the bowl, and then I added some, this is actually, you can use green onions. I actually used knob onions. They were out of green onions, so you can use the tops like you would green onions and the bottoms like shallots. And then some extra bacon bits and some sharp white cheddar cheese. So I will try it and tell you how it is all prepared. I think it'll be good though, because it tasted good in the preparation process, but I'm going to make sure I have some of all the toppings. I think it needs a little more pepper, which you can obviously add at time of eating. Hot. But I really like how it turned out. You can add more cheese. And by only adding a little bacon, I feel like it allows the user, or not the user, the consumer, the person who actually eats it, so that each person can add the toppings so it's flavored how they want. And because I'm using less cheese in reality, it's actually probably cheaper than I added in the milk, which was like 4-ish cents a serving or something like that. I think it's like 64, 65 cents a serving now, because I used like 30 cents worth of milk. But that's a huge pot of soup. And this ramekin is essentially like a cup size of restaurant soup. So very filling, whether you want it to go with a meal, before a meal, whatever. I'd recommend it. And it's a great way to, you know, kind of vary things. A new way to eat potatoes, or a different, not new way, but a different way. And incredibly affordable and super easy. Anyways, again, my name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Right now, I am doing a series on really affordable meals. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.